All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. Who are our guests this evening? 2 guests. There are 3 guests, all right. So welcome to DuePoint. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here. I'm going to be spending the next 45 minutes with you as we go through what this business is all about, who we are, what the opportunity is all about, and then afterwards you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. And welcome to our audience online who are streaming the broadcast. Okay, so let's begin. As you can see, we are a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. We have been around for quite a while, for nearly 70 years. We were founded in 1952. That's the Constantia logo. That's their building in the background there. So you might recognize that logo. Probably not, because Constantia typically don't deal with consumers or with the public. They've only traditionally dealt with other financial service providers in the past. And they typically underwrite a lot of other insurance companies. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there. That's fairly important. That's our license to operate as a financial services provider. You'll notice in the foyer above our water cooler, we've got all our Financial Services Board licenses on display. Again, go check at those. That is kind of a stamp of credibility for us to allay any fear that you might have, thinking that this business might be a fly-by-night or a scheme of some sort. You can go find those licenses on our website too. So we've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, and then obviously our FSP license at the same time. Our senior staff are these individuals. So the 3 people on the far left are registered chartered accountants, Brendan, Tim, and Stacey. You can see they're ignoring us because they're probably talking about Excel formulas. Starting with Mr. Benfield, he's our senior executive. He heads up this division. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because his father has been entrenched in insurance his entire life, and his 2 sons followed in their father's footsteps. So Dr. Brian Benfield is a professor of insurance. He taught at Wits for 25 years. He started Clientele Life all those many years ago. He started the IFA. They've got businesses in Europe. They've helped found businesses in Australia. So there's some wonderful financial pedigree in that family. Brendan and his brother Stuart went on with their father to found a business down the road called Prime Meridian Direct, and that's had a lot of success. That's the 4th biggest short-term insurer in the country already. And now Brendan is heading up this division, so we're very lucky to have him leading this business. And then we've got Tim and Stacey. They look after our financial requirements in the business, which is the auditing, the accounting, a lot of the financial regulation that we have to abide by. And then myself and Jane, we're the 2 non-accountants. Jane is very experienced in network marketing, which is fairly important to our business, because even though we're a insurance company, the growth model that we've adopted is one of network or referral marketing. And Jane brings international experience with her to our team because she's from the UK. She's been doing referral marketing and direct sales for a very long time. And then myself, I've been involved in advertising pretty much all my career, so almost 25 years now. I ran my own agency for about 15 of those years before I exited that business and joined the team here at DuePoint. So that's a little bit about us and the business. You're welcome to go do a background check on us. I want you to trust the business we're going to be speaking about this evening. That's fairly important and fundamental to any proposed partnership that we're going to be speaking about this evening. Then we speak a little bit about the circumstances that a lot of South Africans find themselves in. I'm not going to labor on this point too much because I trust that our guests here this evening, you already know what problems you have from a financial or an economic point of view. But you know, the entire country's in the same situation. We're just ones that are perhaps been exposed to this opportunity. But some figures that we typically look at, and one which is probably most dominant in our lives, is the fact that inflation is running away from what our salaries look like. So if you think about the last 7 years, typically think about how your salaries increased or perhaps even decreased in the last 7 years. And typically it's only a couple of percent that you get every year, but inflation is sitting at 4 or 5% every year, and that's the cost of living. I mean, the last few months has been absolutely crazy. I already saw headlines today, the set petrol increase for August. I was like, are you kidding me? We've just had 2. Now they're talking about a 3rd one in August. Come on, right? And that has exacerbating effects with regards to price on all consumer goods when you increase the price of petrol. So it just never seems to be ending. South Africans, if we look at it on a whole, are fairly indebted as a nation. We've all got a lot of debt. And really what this business is about creating wealth. But there's something that precedes creating wealth, and we'll discuss that quickly. So this is kind of the circumstance we find ourselves in. I'm not going to even speak about retirement for South Africans. That is an even more dismal figure, because South Africans can't afford to retire. But that's a whole other story in its own. So let's get on to the opportunity. Constantia saw an opportunity to create a business a few years ago, and in February 2016 we launched DuePoint along with the DuePoint system. That is basically an opportunity for South Africans to create an additional income for themselves. But we've got a couple of aspirations over and above just creating or having an additional paycheck, and that speaks to creating wealth. So one of the aspirations is we want to see these people get rid of their debt as quickly as possible, right? If we're going to speak about wealth generation, you can't become wealthy if you still owe other people money, right? And typically the interest that you have owing on that principal amount often outweighs what you can get in investment. So it's actually pointless to go out and start investing money if you owe other people money. And so what we like to aspire to, and the language that we speak, is always about getting rid of your debt as quickly as possible. And Brendan is going to speak about that exact thing this weekend in the Dev Seminar, which is about wealth creation. The second aspiration is then to create wealth. We create wealth through the ownership of assets, investments that hopefully appreciate over time. And then the ultimate aspiration is just for people in this business, wealth engineers in this business, to be happier. I'm hoping that if you have absolutely no debt in your life and you're creating recurring income and creating wealth, that you will be happier. If you're not, then you've got to go see a therapist. Right? Nothing wrong with that. I see a therapist every month, mainly because of my marriage. But it's not a bad thing, right? So those are kind of the aspirations we have for people in our business. How does this actually work? How does the DuePoint system work? Our guests here this evening, you have the opportunity to join this business. What happens is you enter into a contract with us that pretty much runs month to month. We don't sign you into any indefinite contract. And once you join DuePoint, we refer to you as wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, you've got a single task in what we call building a channel of distribution. And I'll show you what one of these look like. But it is basically you going out and connecting other people to this business. That's all you got to do. Connect other people to this business, exactly the same way you were connected to this business. And if you are successful in connecting individuals to this business, they become wealth engineers and they take out one of our products. That in turn creates a whole bunch of benefits for you. Primarily being that you get to create an additional income stream for you, a second paycheck at the end of every month, as it were. The nature of the income that you produce here is fairly important, because something that's inherent to insurance companies is actually something that we call recurring or passive income. And that is the ability for an asset to generate income instead of depending on your time to generate income. So in your day jobs, your salaried jobs, what you do is create what we call active income, which is not passive income. Active income, you get paid for the amount of time that you spend at work. You've got a contract that says, I'm going to work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week for the month, and at the end of the month, my employer will pay me a salary. That is active income. And if you don't work, if you disappear from work for August, do you think you get paid anything? You get paid nothing, right? But if you are building an asset like this channel of distribution at DuePoint, you create recurring income, because you can put effort into this business in July 2018 that doesn't only pay you at the end of July 2018. That effort will potentially pay you in August and September, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. You could still be earning money that was based off the effort you put in a single month in 2018. And that's recurring income. It is a very powerful benefit. Along with power duplication, we sometimes refer to it as leverage, but it's the ability to be rewarded off of finding people in your business that come help you and collaborate with you. So when you are connecting other people to this business, be mindful of who you're connecting, because if you find quality individuals that are actually going to do work in this business with you, you will in turn reap the benefits of their efforts, right? So that's typically the basis for referral or network marketing, and that's a great thing, because we are constrained by time. You've got day jobs, you've probably got families, you've got very little time. You want to be able to leverage that time as best as possible, and that is by finding quality people to help you in this business. Our business is flexi time. You can do it whenever you want. A point beyond that is is to say that the technology that we've invested in, the way our business runs, pretty much runs off of a mobile app. Everything that we do is IT-based. It runs in the cloud. What that means for you is that you can do this business anywhere, anytime. You can be in any country, any little town in South Africa, any time of the day, and you can do this business. You've got no constraint. There is zero constraint into doing business. As long as you have the ability to speak to somebody, you can do this business, right? There's no startup capital. We've designed this business to be as accessible as possible. So there's two things. We make it as low risk as possible. So I often say we don't have boxes of product you have to buy. We're not going to ask you for 1,000 Rand or 10,000 Rand or 25,000 Rand. There's no qualifications or experience required to become wealth engineers in this business. We want to make it as accessible as possible to the average South African. You get to build an asset that you have ownership over. That's very important. This channel of distribution that you're building is in your name, and it's treated as an asset, and you have legal tender over it. What does that mean? That means you can sell it. You can sell your channel of distribution. If it's producing 5,000 Rand a month in recurring income, you could equate it to a 1 million Rand investment. Because only a 1 million Rand cash investment would produce 5,000 Rand a month in interest a month. And if the business is doing something similar to that, you can already see the intrinsic value that that asset has. You can sell it. Very importantly, it doesn't retire you. DuePoint, we don't retire our wealth engineers. You don't get to 60 and we say, oh, now it's time to retire as a wealth engineer. In your active salary jobs, you will get to a point where you're probably going to get retired, right? My wife is a labor litigator for the biggest private employer in the country. They see people getting close to retirement. They say, we'll give you a package if you leave sooner. That's when your income ends, right? This business will pay you into your 60s, into your 70s, into your 80s. There's no limit to that. And eventually, when you die, that asset doesn't disappear. It's treated like any other asset. You will cede it in your will to a beneficiary, maybe a favorite child, maybe to your spouse, maybe split it between your children. But you will be passing wealth on to the next generation. Right? And so my point is, I hope that people would be happy sacrificing time to build this channel of distribution, to build this asset. The nature of our business requires no selling whatsoever. So it's actually mandatory that you don't sell. So in other words, by financial regulation, you may not sell our products. That's a great thing, because people don't want to sell products generally, right? How many people deem themselves to be great salesmen? That's not a requirement in our business. The requirement in this business is just to connect people to a business opportunity, right? And how simple is that? Majority of South Africans require additional income to say to somebody, I have an opportunity for you. Come sit down for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, 45 minutes or an hour presentation like this, and come listen. That's all you have to do. Right? And the nature of our products, because they're financial in nature, again has benefit, because we don't have stock and distribution issues that tangible products have. Right? We've got IT systems that take care of the collections, the distribution automatically. You're not even going to know it's happening, right? And so our products are as convenient as possible. I said I was going to show you what a channel of distribution looks like. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer and a product owner, and you are now going to start focusing on building your channel of distribution. Like I said, by going out and connecting people to the business opportunity, not to our products. That is my job. I will tell people about products. Your job is to connect people to the business opportunity. And that's really where the most value lies anyway, right? Not the financial benefits so much in our products. The money that you can make through your channel of distribution far outweighs the benefit that our financial products have. And so you're going to connect people to the business opportunity. If you are successful, and in this example, you are successful with 5 individuals who decide they want to become wealth engineers and they become product owners at DuePoint, and what happens from that point is the referral marketing, the network marketing aspect starts to take over, because the 5 individuals that you introduce to the business will go out and do the same thing. That's the collaboration, the leverage that you want to take advantage of. And not all of them will work. You can see there, that person hasn't done anything, right? But the 4 others have gone out and worked. And we have got endless examples of people whose channels have grown and grown and grown, even without them in it. We've got people that have left the business 2 years ago, and their channels are huge. We've got one lady, she left the business 4 months into it, her channel sitting at 7,000. Over 7,000 products, people are in her business. She walked away from it. She's not even aware of it, right? Because what happens is the growth takes care of itself to a degree. But we don't reward people for not doing anything. Right? It's not like you're going to go find someone who's a superstar and then sit back and think everything's going to be taken care of. We reward you if you're actively engaged and participating in your channel of distribution. My tip for people at this stage, especially new people, is be aware of who you're bringing into your business. Because if you bring in desperate people that don't have the resources to thrive as wealth engineers, that behavior will filter into the rest of your business. So you can bring in 5 desperate people who don't have money. Perhaps they're not even earning a salary. They can't even pay the product. They can't even afford airtime. This business is going to require airtime and data. And then you have these people that aren't doing anything for you, right? And that problem filters into the rest of the business. And your channel will collapse every other month. I promise you that. It's happened to people. Go find people at your peer level. Right? Be discerning in the person that you're bringing in, because that same behavior will filter into your channel. You want to build a strong, sustainable channel. People that you can depend on, people that you know have got the resources to thrive as wealth engineers. So that's what a channel of distribution looks like. I have 2 warnings for you. They stem off of the same point. In the point being that we're not a get-rich-quick scheme. So I think some people might have fears, perhaps before they've even heard a little bit about DuePoint. You probably never heard of DuePoint because we don't do any marketing or advertising. And so you get invited to this presentation by a very eager person who wants to get you there, right? And you're thinking, oh boy, what has this person invited me to? I hope we've allayed a lot of that fear in giving you some information around the background of DuePoint and Constantia. And at the same time, you might have expectation that there's an ability to get rich quickly. Right? I'm going to tell you now there isn't. So Brendan and myself, whenever we give training or we speak to any wealth engineers, you will never hear out of our mouths that this business is easy, because it isn't. The business is about creating wealth. We want to see wealthy people being built up here at DuePoint. That'll certainly set ourselves apart from the rest of the country. And at the same time, we focus on building wealth slowly, because there's no other way to actually build wealth. You cannot become successful and wealthy overnight. Get-rich-quick schemes might purport to say, oh no, if you come join us, invest 20,000 Rand and we'll pay out 2% interest a day. That was a real scheme that just blew up recently, with a staggering amount of people that actually invested in that business. I think they said, what were the numbers? 27,000 people had invested money into that business, and the money's gone. The excuse was our trader has disappeared and we can't find him. Right? Some business running overseas, not regulated by the FSB locally. We're not one of those businesses. So if you're prepared to work towards building wealth steadily, you're at the right place, right? That is what our business is all about. And so that's going to take time. So those are the 2 warnings I want to give you. Very quickly to go through our financial products. They are very straightforward products. We've got 4 that have all financial benefit. They are financial in nature. Let's start with Access Wealth. Access Wealth is our investment product. It's going to cost you 324 Rand per month, of which 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund. So we take full advantage of the tax-free legislation that exists for South Africans. On top of that investment that gets created every month, we give you some personal accident cover to the value of 120,000 Rand. So if you have this investment, you are, for example, killed in a car accident or crime or whatever the accident is, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 120,000 Rand plus whatever's in the investment. And note that the investment doesn't have a notice period on it. It means you can withdraw your investment out at any stage. Okay, so there's no delay around that. So that's Access Wealth, the first product. The second product is called Wealth Guard. Wealth Guard is our insurance product. It's 249 Rand every month, and you get 1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Now, personal accident cover obviously only covers you in the event of accident, so death through accident. It excludes death through illness or natural causes. But the beauty of this product is that it becomes accessible to anyone over the age of 18. So you can be 70, you can have cancer. It doesn't matter what condition your health is in. The premium remains the same for everybody, and the amount of cover that they receive remains the same. So that is Wealth Guard. The third product is Family Wealth. So we launched this product at the beginning of this month. Very innovative. An amazing product. I mean, if you know anything about funeral cover products, I don't think you can find a product like this out there at the moment. It starts at 299 Rand a month. You can, and that includes 20,000 Rands worth of family cover plus, or funeral cover plus 5 included family members. And then you can bump that up to 30,000 Rands worth of cover and 10 family members. And the beautiful thing about this product is that we don't have any exclusions around pre-existing conditions. Right? You try to look at any life cover product. They want to know what your health status is. They want to know how old you are, and that'll definitely affect your premium. Your premium will go up, right? With this, it doesn't. The amount is fixed regardless of your age, regardless of your health status. And at the same time, we give you 10,000 Rands worth of debt protection. So if you've got some outstanding debt at the time of death, we'll pay up to 10,000 Rand for the debt that you have. So it's a wonderful product, Family Wealth. The fourth product and final product is called Wealth Points. Wealth Points aims to lower your cost of living. So we all spend money on a monthly basis, called our cost of living. What we've done has gone out to a number of businesses and negotiated discounts with them that we pass on to our Wealth Points members. So it's going to cost you 299 Rand a month, and you get to share in those discounts, hopefully reducing your cost of living every single month. And we've tried to cover pretty much everything there. We've got data partners, we've got groceries, we've got online retailers, we've got car manufacturers, we've got restaurants and hotels through the entertainer, and this list is always growing. So we're always looking for new partners to add onto this without any increase in the cost of the product. So it's a wonderful product, and if you're looking for immediate benefit, that's probably the product to go for. So that's Wealth Points. So those are the 4 products. If you have any questions around our products, come speak to me. But like I said, they've been designed to be straightforward. We're not trying to hamper business here, remember? Our focus here is business. And so the products have been designed to be, this is the product for me, let's start with the business. Okay. So just a slide to illustrate our business model. If you're wondering, well, how does DuePoint pay returns to everybody? How do we pay that extra paycheck to people? How does DuePoint afford that? We take people on holiday overseas every year, and it might seem like the business model might not work. I promise you the business model works. The primary reason why we're able to do that is that we don't spend any money on marketing and advertising. So typical financial service providers, especially insurance companies, spend a fortune on marketing and advertising. At DuePoint, we don't spend a cent on it. So like I said, you will never see a DuePoint logo outside of this building unless someone comes to speak to you directly about it. What that means is that instead of spending the billions that the insurance industry spends typically every year on marketing and advertising, we can take that portion of our budget and pay it to our wealth engineers, because we are dependent on you to grow our business. And so we reward you for the success that you have in connecting people successfully to DuePoint. So that basically just illustrates our business model. Let's get on to the returns. So there's 2 ways to benefit as a wealth engineer, or to earn money, right? So the one is our returns program. That's the primary benefit. That's that extra paycheck that you get to create every month. And then the second way is through our rewards program. So I'll discuss the rewards program right at the end of the presentation. Let's discuss how you create that monthly income for yourself. So we pay a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every product that you have in your channel. Remember the slide with all the dots on of what your channel distribution could look like? Imagine you're getting paid 27.50 Rand for every single dot that you saw on that screen every month, because it's recurring income, right? But it's dependent on where the product lies in relation to you. So the first 5 people that you introduce to DuePoint, we call that your first point, because that product is 1 point away from you. And on your first point, we actually pay you double the 27.50 Rand. And again on the second point. So when those first 5 people do work, the product that they bring into the business lies on your second point. And again, you earn 55 Rand on the second point. And then to the third point, your channel will keep growing outwards, and you see the multiplier starts to drop steadily from the second point onwards. But we don't stop you at point 8. So there's a little plus there next to the point 8. It means you can carry on earning beyond point 8. That 4% of the 27.50 Rand remains the 4% from point 8 outwards. So we don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We've already got wealth engineers at point 30 in the space of 27, 28 months. There's no limitation on the size of your channel, and therefore there's no limitation on the amount of money you could be earning at DuePoint. So that's the mechanics of the returns. That's fairly straightforward. The next question we address is, well, how much money realistically do people earn in this business beyond the 55 Rand? I want to get an idea of what people earn over time. Is it worth my time? So we built this projection over the next 5 years, and it's based on a premise or an example, a growth formula. And the growth formula assumes that in your first month, you can add 3 people into your channel, right? Every consecutive month thereafter, you only have to connect 2 people into the business. So it's 3 in July, and in August you only have to do 2, September 2, October 2, November 2, and 2 people every month into perpetuity. And if you can follow those numbers, you can expect to earn these kind of figures up on the screen. 2,500 Rand, you can see there, after 6 months of work doing 3 plus 2. Now, I hope everyone appreciates the value of money. I will assume, if you're like me, you think like a consumer. You look at 2,500 Rand and you immediately equate it with what you can buy, right? But this is recurring income. There's a very big difference, right? This is not once-off income. It's recurring income. And I want to show you the power of money. And this is something Brendan is going to elaborate on at this weekend's training. So as an example, we've got someone with R1 million debt here. Because remember, our first aspiration for people in this business is to get rid of their debt as quickly as possible. And if you've financed this principal amount, so you've got property, no one's got R1 million lying around. So typically you go to the bank and you beg for a bond, and they look at your credit record and your salary, and they say, oh, right, okay, we'll give you an interest rate of prime plus 2, for example, and on R1 million, you're paying just over 11,000 Rand a month to the bank for the next 20 years. Right? So if you're my age, like 40, I'll make my final installment when I'm 60 and eventually become a homeowner of my R1 million house 20 years from now. Who knows what the house will be worth? It's probably fallen over by then. Okay, but at the age of 40, I joined DuePoint, and 6 months later, with some success, I'm earning 2,500 Rand. The difference, the choice for me, is either I could take the 2,500 Rand and spend it, or I could take the 2,500 Rand and try to pay my debt off a little bit faster. Because that only signifies about a 20% increase if I decide to put it into my bond. So I'm putting an extra 20% into my bond if I try to pay that bond off faster. The net result is that if I do put that extra 20% into my bond, I reduce the bond term by nearly 50%. Not by less than 20%. It doesn't take me 16 years to pay it off. It takes me 11 and a half years to pay it off. And that is the trick. Because in this example, you will save yourself nearly 1 million Rand in interest payments to the bank, just putting an extra 2,500 Rand into your bond payment. And so we need to aspire to putting money into our debt as quickly as possible. At 12 months, you're earning in excess of 100,000 Rand a year. Who would like to get to that point? Is that enough? You can see it jumped pretty quickly, right? Think about what you were earning 12 months ago. Right? With some consistent work, 12 months from now, you could be earning around 10,000 Rand a month, and it's recurring income. 24 months from now, you're earning nearly 30,000 Rand a month. You see how it increases? That's because of leverage or the power of duplication. You're not doing work on your own. You're bringing, hopefully, good individuals into the business that are collaborating with you. They're creating that power of duplication for yourself. 36 months, we're close to 50,000 Rand a month. I love this example over here. At the 30-month mark, you're earning about 36,000 Rand. And if you equate that to the value in paying off debt a little bit faster, here we have an example of someone who's got a 5 million Rand bond, right? And again, you're faced with that decision. Imagine literally, think about it now. Take 2 seconds to think about what you would do with a sudden extra 36,000 Rand coming into your bank account every month. For me, I'd be thinking about a new car. Bad thoughts. Bad thoughts, right? If I was single, it would be a quick decision for me. If I was single, but I'm not single. I've got a wife who's a lot more level-headed than I am. I've got 2 children, so there's 2 little burdens of debt running around the house. And so it's probably a bad decision, because I could probably go buy a Porsche 911 GTS or maybe a new Range Rover. And actually, it's not buy. You're not buying it. You're leasing it, right? Because you're paying it off. But your other option, and this is a very boring option, is to pay off that 5 million Rand bond a little faster. And in this example, extra 36,000 Rand going into a 5 million Rand bond, you'll pay that house off in less than 7 years. And that's how people who think about wealth generation actually think, right? The problem is we've been brought up to think like consumers. Salary earners get brought up to think like consumers. The economy depends on that, right? And there's very few people who are focused on entrepreneurial kind of wealth generation. And I'm hoping to turn us into those people. Because in this example, if you're really able to pay off a 5 million rand house in less than 7 years, and I'm 40, and I'm able to become a homeowner of a 5 million rand house in 7 years, at 47, I've paid that house off, I can then do the exercise again. Because we always speak about getting rid of your debt as quickly as possible. Paying off your own house is not an investment, by the way. Because you're living in the house. It's not an investment if you're living in it. You would have to move out, live in a caravan, and then rent your house out. Then it would become an asset and an investment, right? And so what we have to do at the age of 47 for me is now buy a second house. The second house is now an investment because I'm able to rent it out. And 7 years later, at the age of 54, I would have paid that off. And then I could do it again. At the age of 61, I'd pay off the third house. Now I've got 2 5 million rand assets that are producing income. I'm ready to retire at 61. Why? Because I've got 2 houses producing 60,000, 70,000 rand a month in rental income. As opposed to just being a salary earner, living like a consumer, getting to retirement and looking at my retirement fund going, how much am I going to get out of it? And if you don't know what that figure is, I'll give it to you now. You need 1 million rand invested just to get yourself 5,000 rand in interest every month. Can anyone live on 5,000 rand? Can you live on 10,000 rand a month? 15,000 rand? Still not 20,000 rand. Closer? Not even closer, 20,000. 25,000 rand. Surely you can live on 25,000 rand a month. Okay, I'm going to ignore you and say you're going to have to live on 25,000 rand a month. But do you know how much money you need in the bank account to produce 25,000 rands worth of interest a month? You need 5 million rand. 5 million rand in your pension fund, right? Invested, hopefully invested successfully. Because even your pension fund, VBS Bank, right? People invested in that bank. They did, right? And that's the risk of the market. You can go speak to many pensioners. They'll tell you about money they've lost. It happens, right? And so it is so important to start looking at other avenues of income that are able to build up assets instead of putting all your risk into one single pension fund. You go speak to anyone, they'll say, hedge your bets, hedge your risk, spread your risk always. But for majority of South Africans, we'll depend on a single investment to get us to retirement. And it's never enough. And we see the statistics already. It's not my opinion, it's statistics already. South Africans, and I'm talking about 90% and over, cannot afford retirement. They can't. We become dependent on our children who are working, hopefully. Friends, family, we've got to downscale our lifestyles, right? I don't want wealth engineers to be in that position. It requires this mature decision 21 years before you get to enjoy the fruits of those decisions, of not choosing the new car, of not thinking like a consumer. Right? And we're just getting started. This is 30 months into this journey. At 48 months, you're close to 70,000 rand a month. And after 5 years, so 1 year after the next World Cup, around the corner, you could be earning close to 85,000 rand a month. That's close to 1 million rand in annual recurring income. Imagine having 1 million rand bonus check every year. Every single year, right? And for me, it's easy to criticize this example, and I'm with you 100% because it's an academic, it's a theoretical example, right? And we actually take into consideration that your business doesn't grow perfectly, because we know there's lots of people that you'll bring into your business that don't do anything, people that don't pay their products, people that leave. We're taking that into consideration. You can still get to those numbers, but we've got people doing it. So we invite real people onto the stage every single month. So these people you'll see up were on the stage last month. We've got our next Tell All Tuesday coming up later this month. And people will come share their stories with you, right? Yeah, we've got Tanashi. She joined 12 months ago. By her own admission, she said she spent only 4 months doing the work. She got started at the beginning. Then she got distracted by some other businesses she was trying to do. She was trying to start some other business. And you go listen to her testimony. The investor decided at the last moment that he wasn't going to invest. And then she got back into DuePoint, right? So 4 months work, her value of a channel sitting at over 5,000 rand a month. So that's equatable to a 1 million rand cash investment sitting in a bank. Don't think like a consumer. Don't look at the 5,000 rand and go, oh, that's not that much. Who's got 1 million rand sitting in the bank? Me neither, right? She created that value for herself. If you want to look at the work she's done, she's introduced 13 people into her business in 4 months. But it's translated to 203 people in her channel. Because this business is not based solely on your effort, right? Her business is currently growing at 40 products a month. If she keeps active in the business, that number will increase. If she disappears again for another 8 months, it'll go down again, right? Yeah, we've got Kwena. She joined 5 months ago. So this is a great comparison. So the value of her business is sitting at 6,000 Rand a month, right? So that's a little more than Tinashe's, but she's put in more people. She's put in 24 people in the space of 5 months. But look at her channel. Her channel size is only 145. Why? Because she hasn't had the same time of having those wealth engineers work that that Tinashe's had, right? This business is about time and numbers. One of my biggest frustrations in the business, people join 2-3 months, they get frustrated and they leave. They don't realize that time is on your side. You think time's not on your side. In this business, time is on your side because with time, you give all the other wealth engineers that have come into your business time to start growing. You have to do that, right? You have to grind in this business for the first couple of years before you can get to any sustainable value. Here's Mavuma. He's been in the business for 18 months. The value of his channel is sitting at 14,000 Rand a month, just over. We've already paid him to date, in 18 months, an extra 137,000 Rand. Imagine taking that away from him. You'd probably notice that quite drastically, right? And you can see the work he's done. 18 people in 18 months. So he's not even doing 3 + 2. Everybody is different in our business. We've got thousands of people joining this business every single month. And everyone is running a different race. My point always is never to compare yourself to anyone else. So don't look at the slide, look at me. Decide what you want out of the business, right? Because I know that you can do it. If you say to me, I want 10,000 Rand a month, I'm never going to say, no, you can't do that. I'm going to say, yes, you can do it. Here's how much work you have to do every month. That's always the plan. If you have that goal, the plan is, well, you've got to not do, if you want 20,000 Rand after 1 year, you've got to be doing 6, 7, 8 people a month. The goal is the starting point. Decide what you want out of the business. The decision never is just what you want. Everyone wants. If I say, do you want an extra 10,000 Rand a month? Who's going to say no to that, right? So that's not the decision. The decision is, realistically for me, have you, and hopefully on the previous couple of slides, your imagination ran a little wild, right? An extra 1 million Rand a year, the potential of that. But more realistically, so practically, can you fit DuePoint into your life? Because as I often say, this is not a hobby that we're speaking or proposing this evening. It's not a hobby. It's not a New Year's resolution. We're not trying to lose weight or stop smoking. We're talking about matters that are even more serious than that, right? And that is the ability to change your circumstance. And so for me, the decision is, how does DuePoint fit into my life? Can you realistically have a meeting with your family tomorrow and say, listen, we found this business, we're going to give it a go for a couple of months, see what happens, but this is what it means for us as a family. I'm not coming to watch you at sport on Saturday mornings because I'm going to DuePoint every Saturday. I don't sit and relax and eat my sandwiches during lunch at work in the week. I'm phoning people to try to connect them to DuePoint. That's practically what it means, right? It feeds into the concept again of we are not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is an entrepreneurial business, and real business requires real work to get any success out of it. And so, joining is very easy. Jump into our website or onto the mobile app and do the Wealth Engineer application. It takes 7 minutes and suddenly you're a wealth engineer. And now you can start working on this business. Read our code of conduct. More importantly, the code of conduct says what you may not do as a wealth engineer. Those are very important. We are regulated by the Financial Services Board, so there's a whole bunch of regulation around that. And then apply yourself to the business. It means go watch the training. We produce training constantly. Constantly. Go watch it, right? You think, compare us to doing a degree at WITS. Imagine you wanted to become an architect. And you're thinking, okay, architects make a lot of money. Whether there are jobs for them or not, you don't know. And you go study for 8 years at WITS. And you come out, you've just spent how much money? 8 years worth of education at university. You come out and you can't find a job. Our training, 6 hours. 6 hours and you can be profitable by the end of the month. How's that for comparison? Set goals for yourself. We've discussed that a little bit already. Prepare a plan. You have to set the goal first with a timeline. A goal with a timeline must be, I want 10,000 Rand in 6 months or a year. It can't just be, I want 10,000 Rand. There's no accountability without a goal, without a timeline with your goal. So a goal, a timeline, then prepare the plan. The plan is easy. How many people do I need to speak to every month to get to that number? Right? And you can come speak to the experienced people. Yeah, we will tell you how many people you need to connect every month to get to a specific number in a specific time frame. And then the speaking to people, that's the basic activity. If you're not speaking to someone every day, you're not doing this business. Right? We've designed this business to be as convenient as possible, but you have to be speaking to somebody. That's the part we cannot do. That is something you have to keep yourself accountable to all the time, that number. We've got merchandise. It's not a profit center for us. These are tools to increase your credibility when you're out proposing this opportunity to people. It is. People think, oh no, DuePoint's just trying to make money out of us. We don't make money out of this, right? The admin around this is painful for us. But these are tools that we know will empower you when you try to connect people to DuePoint. For me, foremost is the business cards. If you become wealth engineers tonight, please consider ordering business cards immediately. It will help you, I promise you. If you go to somebody and you say, I've got a wonderful business opportunity, I'm involved in it, it's an amazing company, give me your details, and you tear off a piece of your notepad and write your name and number on there. Guys, I've been in advertising long enough, right? It's all about credibility and trust. That is what sales is all about. And I know we don't sell, but when we talk about sales, we talk about trying to convince someone to listen to us. Right? And that's what this business is about. People are going to mistrust you off the bat. It is your job to create credibility, and the merchandise does that for you. Join our Facebook page. We are producing content for that Facebook page daily, right? So if you want your finger on the pulse, join the Facebook page. The YouTube channel has got over 500 videos on there, all neatly categorized. There's a wealth of information waiting for you there. And the YouTube channel hosts our broadcasting. So if you subscribe to YouTube, it'll tell you every time that camera is about to be turned on to broadcast to the entire country 6 days a week. And we're doing live presentations 6 days a week, right? Think about that. And you get that for nothing. DuePoint mobile app, download it onto your Android or your Apple device. That's your office in your pocket. That app is the office in your pocket. You have to have that. If you don't have a smartphone, guess what you're going to be investing in soon? A smartphone. Right, so that you can have that app. It tells you exactly what is happening in your business, how much recurring income you're making, whether the people you're bringing in are good quality or not good quality. It does all of that for you. So make sure you download the mobile app. There's a reminder for Saturday at 9 a.m. Wealth Generation 101 is the dev seminar that we're running on Saturday. It is going to be an awesome dev seminar. Out of all the dev seminars that we've given over the last 2.5 years, I am super excited about this one. Unfortunately, I'm not giving it because I'm not an accountant, but Brendan's a CA, so he's probably a little more qualified to give this, and he's going to be discussing all facets of really wealth generation with regards to personal finance. So not only is it just motivational, and not only does it show you the power of creating recurring income with DuePoint, but there are some real pearls of wisdom from a personal finance management point of view that Brendan's going to be discussing on Saturday morning. So make sure you tune into this. Come here if you can, tune in on YouTube, and it'll be live. This Dev Center will be on YouTube for your consumption from Saturday morning at 10 when it's done. Okay, so the reminder for that. Let's get on to our rewards program. So we've been discussing recurring income and channels. Now we're going to discuss our rewards program. So the rewards program is the cherry on top here at DuePoint. It's not as important as producing monthly recurring income, but it's a lot of fun, and these are tangible rewards. So you can get quite excited by the rewards that we have for the success you have here at DuePoint. So it begins like this. You become a wealth engineer and you start doing wealth engineer things. Like what do wealth engineers typically do? They connect people to the intro presentation. We give you XP for that. It's called experience points. So if you bring guests, you get more XP. If you log into your app every day, you get XP for that. If you do home presentations and you invite people to your house or to another location to come watch the intro presentation, you get XP for that. There are tons of things that earn you XP. And when you start collecting more and more XP and your channel grows, there are all these rewards waiting for you. So to get on the board, to get to rank 1, you need 1,000 XP. You can do that in 60 seconds. 4 products in your qualified channel. And when you meet those two criteria, you suddenly become a rank 1. You get an extra 55 Rand on top of your recurring income at the end of the month. Right? So it starts out small. Can anyone get excited over 55 Rand? Not a single person. You're all looking at me like, better get bigger. You've got to celebrate rank 1. Don't turn your nose up at rank 1. I know it's small, 55 Rand, but it's more significant than that. The significance of getting to rank 1 is that you've just proven to yourself that you can do this business. If you can get 4 people into the business, you can get 4,000 people into the business. I promise you. People don't believe me. If you can get to rank 1, you can get to rank 20 in this business. I promise you, by the time you're at rank 20, you are a millionaire. The rank 20s are doing the same thing the rank 1s are. That's the funny thing. They're still speaking to people. The rank 20, the millionaire, is still connecting people every day. And the rank 1 is doing the same thing. The one's just been doing it longer than the other one. That's the only difference. So when you get to rank 1, no, you are on this road to rank 20. And there is. The more success you have in the business, the more XP you're collecting, there are much bigger rewards waiting for you, right? Before you get to rank 20, there's a 20,000 Rand check, a 50,000 Rand check. We give tools to our wealth engineers that help them build their channels more effectively. Fancy USB sticks, 12,500 Rand business cards. You want to talk about credibility? You put a 12,500 Rand business card on the table. I promise you, your credibility goes through the roof. Because no one has got 12,500 Rand business cards in this country. No one. I worked in advertising for 20 years. I've designed business cards through my ears. No one is willing to spend that amount of money on business cards, but we do because we know it is so empowering from a credibility point of view, right? So we pay for it for you. You get 1,000 cards. Go look at them. They're in the merchandise cabinet. At rank 9, this is a very exciting one because this is for the whole family. You get to take your spouse and your children to our rank 9 conference. We bring them with you to our rank 9 conference and we pay for everything. It's 7 days away, all expenses paid trip to a 5-star luxury resort. Flown business class there and back. Black Mercedes-Benz picks you up in your driveway. You bring your passport, you don't have to bring your wallet. You won't spend a cent in those 7 days. And you get to enjoy this every single year for the rest of your life. When you get to rank 9 and above, you're doing this every single year. Think about your children growing up not knowing what economy class feels like. They don't know what squashed sore knees feel like on a flight, right? Especially me. I'm nearly 6'3". I don't like flying economy. Unfortunately, I can't afford business class. And I can't start a channel, so what can I do? Right? But this is for you guys, right? And this is a very tangible reward. And a lot of people aspire to getting to this. It's going to take 3-4 years of work before you get here. You can do it faster, but for the average person, it's going to take a few years. But I think it's well worth it. So take a look. We documented last December's trip. So hopefully that group's going to be getting bigger and bigger. Might have to get a bigger yacht. You can see some people are nearly falling over the edge there. Pumi was nearly eaten by fish when she went scuba diving. You saw that. But that's what rank 9 looks like. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 buying you a new car. Cash. We don't lease the car. We don't rent the car. We buy the car cash in your name and present that car to you with a little bit of fanfare here at DuePoint, and you get to drive it off with no DuePoint branding. It is your car. You don't have to share it. You don't have to ever give it back. And we are at rank 11. So this is what our rewards program typically looks like. It actually goes up to rank 28. It's been designed up to rank 28 so far. And as I said, the rewards get bigger and better at every step. And so what is the decision we need to make this evening as we close on this presentation? For me, as I said, very practically, it's whether you think you can do this business or not. I know anyone can do the business. But we all come with a range of excuses why we can't do the business. We're too busy, or we already have a good job, or I don't think I'll ever get retrenched, or my retirement fund looks fine, or whatever the reason is. But beyond that, beyond the need, can you fit DuePoint into your life? Are you willing to sacrifice spare time to do this business? And if you are skeptical, I don't mind skeptical. I'm a natural skeptic. I don't believe anything that any person in sales or marketing tells me. I'll go do a whole bunch of research afterwards. If you are a skeptic, why not? I invite you, why not to try this business for 30 days? 30 days. Oh, Patrick's laughing. 30 days, try this business. But I want 30 days of commitment. Don't tell me you spoke to everybody you know after 30 days. We hear that a lot, and it turns out you've only spoken to 5 people. It was all family, and they all said no. Right? Give the business 30 days. I invite anyone to try this business for 30 days. And if you connect one person a day to this business, not even connect, if you just speak to one person about this business every single day for 30 days, I promise you'll not leave. Because next month you'll be richer than you were last month. And if you can walk away from that, well then, that's not on us. So I invite you to come join us here at DuePoint with all the support in the world. It's in our interest to support you. We do everything to empower you to build your channels. And everyone's working together here at DuePoint. That's another great thing, is that we're not in competition with each other like you are in the workplace, right? The workplace has become extremely competitive under the current environment. Here at DuePoint, there's enough to go around for everybody, right? It's not a competitive thing. If you put in the work, you get rewarded for it, full stop. If you have any questions around the business, come speak to me afterwards. Otherwise, I wish you a prosperous week and a year. We've got 6 months left of the year, maybe a little bit less, 5 months, 2 weeks left of the year. You can make significant change to your circumstance, and I invite you to come do that here at DuePoint. So thank you, and I'll speak to whoever wants to be spoken to afterwards. Cheers.